Hello, my fellow people of the southern Cameroons, brave warriors of the Amazonian liberation struggle. Accept greetings from me, Comrade John Akuro. Today is Sunday, and this Sunday is December 10, 2023. And I know if you are watching me from Bamenda, it should be exactly 8 p.m because right here is 2 p.m. Eastern Time in the United States of America. And if you are watching me from Bangem or in Badun, or if you're in a Konalelu, uh, or you're in Tenaco in Mayo County, or Furawa in Menchum County, I mean, it's the same time. It's 8 p.m. So, welcome to this broadcast this day, folks. Today is another opportunity for us to educate ourselves, for us to sensitize ourselves, for us to share information, and for us to strengthen our resolve in ensuring that we meet the greatest challenge of our times, which is kicking the last vestiges, the very last vestiges of the colonial presence of La République du Cameroon out of our land, and then restoring the soul of Amazonia, restoring the soul of the southern Cameroons, ensuring that we take our destiny into our hands. My people, in today's broadcast, we are going to be looking at exactly how France has kept its promise. In the document that I released recently, and I'm sure that a lot of us have had the opportunity to read that document. If you have received that document, make sure you pass it on. Share that document. Share and share and share until you can share no more. Let every single Amazonian, let every single Southern Cameroonian have the opportunity to see this document and understand, I mean, what we find ourselves in. That will let each and every one of us recognize that we are not just locked in a conflict, an armed conflict with La République du Cameroon. We don't just find ourselves in a genocidal war being visited on our people by La République du Cameroon. We find ourselves in an existential crisis. I mean, existential, because what is going on is something that is about our very existence. It's our very existence that is threatened. And that is why it is so important for us to let each and every single Amazonian, Southern Cameroonian get informed. Because knowledge, they say, is power. When you know it, it begins to sink into you. It will begin to influence the way you think. It will begin to guide the way you act. And I'm convinced that even those Amazonians, those Southern Cameroonians, who even as I'm speaking right now, are still being derailed and listening to pieces of advice here and there that no, don't buy land and construct in, in the Southern Cameroons, be it in Bamenda, Boya, Kumba, and all whatnot. No, rather go and buy land in Yaounde or Douala and build structures there because you easily have people to rent. Let me tell you, that long awaited night, and that night is going to be a very long one in La République du Cameroon, is close. And I say it verily, verily, at the end of the day, don't say you were not warned. Don't say your attention was not drawn to it. I already have some of our people who have reached out to me crying that you told us these things, you warned us, and I still went ahead, bought land in Yaounde, thinking I was going to be wiser, and today I'm around, the fifth buying session, just within 2 years. There are others who are saying the land has simply been taken because some people just resurfaced from nowhere with a land title and said the previous ones who sold him, that the initial people who sold him the land and showed him a land title, that land title was fake. It's the same thing in Douala. And I want to let us know that what is happening to us when we go doing those kind of things, we are playing directly into the hands of La République du Cameroon because that is what they stand to achieve, as you will see in this broadcast. Again, it's not just a plan by La République du Cameroon alone, it's in conjunction in total collaboration and in agreement with France. And it is in execution of the agreement that you saw in that document on Article 28, where they say les anglophones se plaignent de leur marginalisation. Mais avec le soutien de la France, la menace est moindre. You understand? So what I'm trying to say here, or what I'm saying here, my people, is that we as a people, we have to wise up. We as a people, let us generally sit down and think ahead. Don't look only at today, because we are making a lot of mistakes. And those mistakes are going to be costly for us. This is something I want us to take quite seriously. So I want to get into the subject matter of this discussion of today. And I actually promise you, we are not going to be long here. I mean, we definitely are not going to be about 40 minutes. That's not my intention today. And I want to make sure that we start scaling down on the time that we spend together so that we can be able to absorb and also share as much as we can. So if you're just joining this broadcast, you're on the GMA Connections, share the link as you come in. Share and share and share as much as you can. Let's reach as many people as possible so that we will continue to sensitize and educate our people towards our ultimate and obvious goal, that of total and absolute independence. And also, when you come in, come on, give me the hearts. Like this video, shoot me the hearts. When you do all of those things, they give YouTube reason to generally maintain this particular platform on live broadcasts. This is something fundamental that we need to know. Because like I said earlier, La République du Cameroon and the high-tech companies working with them have been doing everything to make sure that they undermine this particular platform. And the reason is simple. I don't need to dwell on that reason anymore. So without much ado, let's delve into the subject matter of our discussion today. My people of Amazonia, I have seen some press releases from some people in our liberation movement indicating that it is their feeling that we should not observe ghost towns on Christmas Day and on New Year Day. So they are saying in those releases that on December 25, there should be no ghost towns. People should go about their activities normally and everything. And that on January 1, 2024, there should also not be ghost towns. Let people celebrate New Year. And then you resume ghost towns the following week. But at the same time, I have already seen releases too from the APLC, that's the Amazonian People Liberation Council, the structure bringing together a majority of the armed groups on the ground, saying they don't want to hear about the suspension of ghost towns, even on Christmas Day or on New Year's Day. And so this cacophony already frightens me, because these are the things that we have been struggling to work on over time to make sure we kill these discordant voices so that we consult with each other and come up with a decision on some of these kind of issues which will be accepted by all and implemented by all. But once there's already cacophony, it frightens me, and the only thing I can advise at this point will be, please, if the drum from those carrying toys becomes louder and louder, that there will be ghost town on Christmas Day and on New Year's Day, please stay home. Relax with your people in your neighborhood where you are. I mean, people can come out together in the quarters, enjoy yourselves together. Don't wander far beyond your comfort zone. I've said here 1,001 times, my concern remains the safety of the civilian population. This is paramount to me. I say so because we should note one thing. Anytime we have this kind of cacophony, when we start having this kind of discordant voices, the quickest thing that happens is La République du Cameroon prepares its machinery, its apparatchiks. They will transform Christmas in our land into Red Christmas. And because they would have heard that there's one side saying no ghost town and another side saying ghost towns, and then they say, okay, so it means that there will be conflict. Anything that happens on that day will be attributed to our liberation movement. Anybody that's killed on that day, they will say it is our people who have killed because they were trying to enforce ghost towns. So, folks, listen, I always go back to Pa Jomia Pefok, who said when two elephants are fighting, the grass suffers. Don't allow yourself to be used. Monitor the communications. Listen carefully. And at the end of the day, make an informed security decision on what you need to do. It's frustrating that we find ourselves at this crossroads again. But my prayer is, as we go forward, we should be able to, make consultation the main approach that we take when it comes to determining what happens on this kind of days. Because that's a decision that affects everyone in the liberation struggle, not one group, not one movement, not one organization only. It affects all of us. So, and there is not a single group in this liberation movement, not a single group, not a single movement, not a single organization that has the capacity to take that decision for everyone. And to consequent on that, making calls here and there so we all come out in unison, at least to agree on this particular issue, will always be the wisest thing to do. We still have a few days that can be done. But in the absence of us being able to do that, please listen carefully, put your ears to the ground, and take the most informed security decision that ensures that you and I will see 2024. So that said, I want to go back to some aspects of that document that I shared. And of course, I'm bringing this cover page so you recall, so you remind yourselves of the document I'm talking about. And the trust that I'm going on this document again is on an aspect that I had already discussed. This is why I will definitely be, be very snappy as I raise it. And this one, where they say the elite politique. I'm coming to elite politique because I want to demonstrate something in action. So we see my penchant on doing this is just so that we continue to see that these people never just act irrationally. They're not just acting irrationally. And we can say, oh, they're just being irrational and all of those things. Maybe if given the opportunity, they could think differently. It is policy. I've come on this platform 1,001 times and I've posited here that the underdevelopment that we are living, that the poverty and misery that is being lived in that country is a public policy. No one would have believed me then until now that this particular document is out here and you can see for yourself what it says. So on the elite, it says, nous devons veiller à ce que l'élite politique des autres soit toujours illégitime. I already said about this. They will do everything to weaken, to break our elite, or those who call themselves our elite, transform them into parrots, thinify them, and then use them as objects to impose their will on us. And this is why constantly they will do everything to weaken those who call themselves our elite, fragilize them completely, and first of all, because they are the ones who impose them on us as our elite, because they pick those among us who are totally, who are not people who are so supported, who are so popular with the masses. And so these people know that their power base is the La République du Cameroon's government. So that's why they will make all of these people dependent on them for everything, including even their security. And this is fundamental. Look at this article. Villagers want funds chiefs to return to palaces, urge government to beef up security. You recall in my last broadcast here, I showed a clip of the fawn of Nso. We used to call him the lion of Nso. That is that one that when he spoke, everybody would be quiet. That one that was revered one that was feared, that one that was respected. But I showed him to you here, saying that wherever you stay, you can call it home. And when you see an article like this one saying villagers want fonds and chiefs to return to palaces, urge government to beef up security. To beef up security around these fonds and chiefs against who? Listen, folks. Fonds and chiefs in our community are people put there by the people to rule over them. This is traditional rule, to rule over them. So which therefore means that the fond is someone who incarnates the wishes and aspirations of the people and is the custodian of the traditions and the customs of the people. And don't forget, in the grass field with our fonds, almost every household had a bet, or call it a furrow, on their farms, where whatever they harvest from there is meant for the palace, because it is the people's palace. The fund is there for the people, and the people will do everything to protect their funds. Now, when you find a situation where a colonial administration has weakened our funds, weakened our chiefs, to the point where they are now saying for them to come back and live with their people, they have to have security provided to them, provided for them by the colonial administration, that tells you the level to which they have been tinified and reduced to nothing. They only use them now to impose the will of the colonial administration on the people, number one. And number two, they use them to show the outer world that, look at, these are their traditional rulers and everything. They are all with us, and they are all saying that the will of their people is to continue to stay in slavery. So to attain this objective, they have to cut off the so-called elite, the traditional rulers and all whatnot from the people, make them become seriously hated by their people, make them haunted by their people, so that they are able to, at that time, use them as objects, manipulate them. And it is written in this document. I'm not the one saying it. And you see, when they do that, they expect people like these ones. Look at, this is my sister here, Minister Mbaacha. She restates Momo stands for United Indivisible Cameroon. Is she speaking on behalf of the Momo people? Is she talking for me? Is she talking for you? Hell no. She is not talking for any of us. La République du Cameroon knows that Momo is one of the bedrocks of this liberation movement. Particularly Moramo, Batipo, where she comes from. So you see this, folks. This is what I call tinification of the people who are supposed to be people we look up to. And when the parrot, this is not meant for you and I. No, these statements are not meant for you and I. They are meant to grease the French and La République du Cameroon's machinery, that propaganda machinery across the world, that, look at, a lot of the people from that area don't want freedom. They don't want this independence. They are very comfortable and okay with being with La République du Cameroon. This is what it is about. This is what I mean by the tinification of these so-called elite, so that they will use them to attain their objective, and they use them to impose the will of La République's colonial administration on our people. This is something that should never leave our minds. It should never leave our memories. And I say this because even these people speaking here, they themselves too often are not even aware, are oblivious of the fact that they are just tools in the hands of a demonic administration meant to be used to subdue the people that they are supposed to be working to protect their interests. That's exactly what this is. And that's why I say, share this document, share it and share until your fingers begin to pain. Let it get to everyone, including those in that so-called class of elite, they need to see this document. They need to read it. They need to understand it. And they need to see what kinds of objects they have become. That said, I really want us to go back to this statement in this document where that article 28, and let me begin from 26, where they say, gardons à l'esprit que les accords auraient été passés entre la France et l'Angleterre, accords par lesquels ces dernières renonçaient à toute revendication historique sur le Cameroun anglophone. I'm recalling this because of what you're going to be hearing ahead, what you're going to be watching right ahead. Because don't forget, when the Beti Ekambulu governing class in La République du Cameroun are reminding themselves that France and the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland had come into an agreement to auction the people of the southern Cameroons, our future, our destiny, and everything to France. They are not joking. That's why it is actually written. And they say, for that reason, the British will never say anything, no matter what happens to us. And of course, we have seen that. We have seen some courageous and brave British parliamentarians or House of Representatives elected officials talk courageously about the need to intervene and stop this slavery in the southern Cameroons. Some of them have even gone as far as revisiting the evil hand of the British in what is going on today in Ambazonia. Some of them have condemned the silence of Downing Street with what is happening in Ambazonia. And I want to hail them and thank them. But it is unfortunately British official government policy to look the other way, no matter how many people are killed in our land. And then that is why they say in Article 28 here, les anglophones se plaignent de leur... no, and then they go from there, they say, et d'autres accords, that's Article 26, auraient été passés entre le Cameroun francophone et la France pour que jamais un anglophone ne devienne président de la République de ce pays. Of course, I already said about that one. None of us interested in president of the Republic in their country. But there is an agreement they came into with France that should never happen. And they say, cependant, la peur d'une revanche anglophone n'est pas totalement négligeable. That the fear of some kind of revenge from Ambazonians or from Southern Cameroonians is not negligible. But they go ahead to make this very clear point. Les anglophones se plaignent de leur marginalisation, mais avec le soutien de la France, la menace est moindre. You see that? And then, prior to this point, they had mentioned in another area earlier that I'm trying to look for that specific article because it's very important that we know where they say there's anglophone. I think they say here that voilà. Yeah, they say d'ailleurs Dieu a plusieurs fois détruit la race humaine pour la reconstruire. That several times God has destroyed the human race in order to, to start things all over to meet his will. Donc, dans cette guerre de notre parti politique contre les anglophones, le nombre de morts ne doit pas compter. This is what I want us to underline. Le nombre de morts ne doit pas compter. The number of deaths should not matter. Seuls les vivants actifs. Now I want to play this clip. I'm getting to this clip so that we try to see exactly this document and everything that's been said here in absolute execution. While this delegate of the European Union, this is an old video of about 2019 or 2020. It's not new. But what I want us to see is that while this document is making reference to things that happened in 2022, it is because this document is not only, it is constantly updated They have been updating it because what is here has been in application for a while right now. While this delegate of the, while this European Union delegate condemns in absolute terms the attitude of La République du Cameroun in our land, condemns the fact that La République du Cameroun and France played tricks to take us from a situation where we came into an agreement to be a united country, a federal country of two parties equal in status to the point where we become subjected, you will get the reaction of the French. Let's listen to her.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Au Cameroun, après le référendum constitutionnel de 1972, le système du gouvernement fédéraliste garantissant la représentation des 20% d'anglophones a été abandonné au profit d'un système centralisé qui donne l'avantage aux francophones. Depuis, les anglophones au Cameroun souffrent d'une marginalisation accrue qui n'a fait...
So now this lady is making clear. She begins by actually pointing out, the disappointment, because she's disagreeing with the fact that an agreement that came into 1961 was shelved. And then Southern Cameroonians who got into a union, into a federal union of two parties equal in status, found himself subjected because what was agreed was set aside, nullified, and then we became subjects, and then we have been crying year in, year out about marginalization. And she makes clear that this is the fact. She is not reporting. She is asserting. She is stating the facts. Listen again.
Peut s'empirer. En 2016, les enseignants et avocats de la région du sud-ouest et nord-ouest anglophones se mettent en grève car ils estiment que le gouvernement majoritairement francophone tente de réduire le système de common law et l'enseignement pratiqué en anglais dans ces régions. La réaction du gouvernement Biya est sans appel, une réponse militaire dure qui fait émerger les mouvements séparatistes et manifestations violentes. S'enclenche alors une spirale violente entre le gouvernement...
So you hear there's one thing she says here. She goes back briefly to the start of this phase of our liberation movement, 2016, where she recalls that when lawyers and teachers got up, the reaction of the government was horrible, so high-handed, to the point where the government is responsible for the radicalization. I've heard some people, this is not an Amazonian, she is not a Cameroonian, she is not even an African, but she's pointing out that the radicalization of the people of the Southern Cameroons was caused by the high-handed approach of the government of La République du Cameroun in response to the people's demands, for a halt to the assimilation project of the people of the Southern Cameroons. This is absolutely important because you hear some people say, oh, this war, now we start this war. No, I'm not the one saying it. Let's finish up with her.
Sourd à des revendications légitimes et s'engageant à détruire tous ceux qui veulent diviser la nation, et une radicalisation des mouvements séparatistes anglophones qui s'arment contre le pouvoir francophone de Yaoundé et qui répriment tous ceux qui afficheraient une non-affiliation à leur cause. Les victimes, comme toujours, la population civile massacrée, 3000 morts, privée d'écoles, obligée de fuir, plus d'1 million de déplacés aujourd'hui au Cameroun. Actuellement, ce gouvernement Biya refuse toujours de prendre en compte les demandes des...
So did you hear that? She is recounting the damage that is being done and noting that the government of Cameroon not only responded with a high hand, but has been determined to destroy, to kill, to arrest, to torture anyone that dares raise the voice in support of the cause of the people of the Southern Cameroons for autonomy, because that's what it was at that early moment. And she says that it is as a result of that that the people got what? Radicalized. And then she comes out by saying that the government of Cameroon has refused any calls, proposals for peace talks that would bring about justice and then peace. And then the government of Cameroon again has rejected all forms of proposals for a return to the two-state federation. I'm not interested in federalism, but I'm interested in this particular aspect because it should, this is coming from the international community, not from me. It should inform those daydreamers among us who move around and talk federalism to understand that even the international community knows that La République du Cameroon and France are not ready to give them, let me use that word give because that's what they are talking about, to revert to that federal system. It will never happen. That's why I continually urge those who are wasting, dissipating their energy talking about federation, join the independentist train. It will become too late for you. Because La République, even decentralization, they are not thinking about it. You saw in this document. If you have it, read it. La République du Cameroun is not ready. That's why you see it on the aspect du développement. La République du Cameroun is not ready even to enforce its own decentralization policy because they have to ensure that their policy of poverty and misery, which is a public policy, continues to be implemented. Then talk less of people daydreaming that you're going to get something called federalism. Anything that you want people to give you, which is precious, you are sounding to me as not serious. Such things are seized. They are not given. They are taken. Freedom is taken. Freedom is seized. You wrench your freedom from the hands of people who don't want you to be free. They don't get one money and carry it and give it to you. No, it doesn't happen. So I just want our people to know this. If you know any federalists, pass them this document and tell them that you are not only wasting your time, but you are even trying to stand on the people's path towards attaining our key objective, which is absolute freedom. Because there will never be anything that works for any one of us in any form of union with La République du Cameroon. And again, she makes it clear it is Cameroon that has not wanted to approach any peace initiative. But now, in keeping with this document that I was just going through, that La République says that cependant, that les anglophones se plaignent de leur marginalisation, mais avec le soutien de la France, la menace est moindre. Now listen to the French representative.
Merci Madame la Présidente. Je l'avais souligné en 2019, la crise anglophone au Cameroun se prête mal à des simplifications outrancières. Et si l'on s'entend sur ses aspects les plus tragiques, les nombres de réformes entreprises depuis son déclenchement sont...
So you see, just at the beginning, when the French lady comes in, the first thing she is doing, she is saying that a lot of the things that they are saying about Cameroon and all of those things in relation to this genocidal war going on in our land are outrageous. That's what she means by outrancière. She believes that they are being blown out of proportions. She believes that they are just targeting La République du Cameroun, which is doing a lot. She believes that, as a matter of fact, La République du Cameroun deserves support rather than condemnation because... And then she's now going on to enumerate so-called reforms. Listen.
Telles souvent occultées. Qu'il s'agisse de la création en 2017 d'une commission nationale pour la promotion du bilinguisme et du multiculturalisme, du recrutement de professeurs et de magistrats anglophones ou encore du grand dialogue national et du statut accordé en 2019. Occulter l'attitude des leaders de l'agitation anglophone des régions du Nord et du Sud-Ouest, dont beaucoup résident aux États-Unis et en Europe, l'est également, puisque certains auraient rejeté l'ensemble de toute discussion.
So you see this. She cites so-called reforms taken by the Republic du Cameroon, creation of bilingualism commission in response to what is going on there. Bilingualism and Multiculturalism Commission. What has it done? She cites the so-called Grand National Dialogue. Where has it taken us to? She talks about the recruitment of so-called Anglophone magistrates and teachers and all of those things. Why I'm playing this is so that you should understand why La République du Cameroon tells you that, as a matter of fact, With the support of France, they are convinced they will be able to that they will be able to meet the challenge of maintaining us in slavery and servitude. Because France represents their voice in the concert of nations, especially at the level of the UN Security Council, where key decisions are taken. And you can see France playing that role. Because you hear what this lady says. She says that not paying adequate attention to the role being played by the leadership of the Southern Cameroon's liberation movements that are based in Europe and in America is being unjust to La République du Cameroon. That's what she is saying. And she claims that we have rejected all the avenues, all the the proposals that La République du Cameroon has made to us to get to peace. We have rejected all the initiatives taken by La République du Cameroon for us to sit and talk. Blatant lies that you all hear. I mean blatant lies that nature debunked at the National Assembly recently. I shared that video on this platform. I'm coming to this so that while you read this document, don't lose sight of the fact. Don't think it is theory. It is practice. What is in there is being implemented. When they quote France, it is not a fallacy. You can see France here doing its role. Listen to the lady again.
Avec le gouvernement. Du reste, cette insurrection se fonde-t-elle uniquement sur des considérations d'ordre linguistique et culturel? Nombre d'anglophones vivent, après tout, dans des régions qui ne le sont pas, dans ce pays à 80% francophone.
Now, did you hear that? She says that, she's just trying to point out that a bunch of people are creating confusion left and right and all of those things, and people are losing sight of the fact that that country is 80% francophone and just about 20% anglophone, and that a lot of our people, Southern Cameroonians, are living in the other regions of La République du Cameroon peacefully, well received and everything, to mean therefore that the issue is not with La République du Cameroon, it is with us. That's what she's explaining. And I pointed this out here, that what La République du Cameroon is doing, burning down all those villages, practicing that scorched earth policy, is in line with ensuring they get our people out of our land into their own area to justify this kind of trash that you are hearing from this French woman. And so, because tomorrow they will say, if we were bad people, they are rather running to us. It's the same thing, like I'm telling our folks who are busy buying land in La République du Cameroon and all whatnot. You are playing into their hands. Those always say, oh, we're investing there because, we need to invest. Listen, I don't have any problem with people investing in foreign land. We have Amazonians who are resident in Nigeria, who have never built anything for themselves in Amazonia. They are resident in Nigeria, that have invested there. You can invest in a foreign country. If you are doing it from that perspective, okay, fine and good. Try to be sure that your investments are going to be protected in a country where the legal system resides in one human being. Because Paul Biya has outperformed Louis XIV, who said, l'État c'est moi, who said, the state is me, I am the law. And this is very important for us to note. So what I'm saying this is, while La République du Cameroon is doing all of those things and making us that they know that France is their mouthpiece in protecting and covering all the evil that they are performing on our people on the ground, and thus this line of argument. And when they dignify our so-called elite, they get them out to pass this particular same kind of line of argument. Because in conclusion, let us hear her conclusion.
Revendication de certains anglophones s'agissant de leur représentation au sein de sociétés pétrolières pourrait de son côté être symptomatique de motivations économiques sous-jacentes. Gardons-nous de crier haro sur le Cameroun, à plus forte raison à l'heure où le terrorisme islamiste semble en passe.
So you hear what she says? That so let's avoid trying to, be hard on Cameroon or be condemning them because it's an island of peace. It's an island of peace in a turbulent region because the country is facing a lot of challenges. Boko Haram the other way are receiving refugees from other countries like Nigeria and all of the Central African Republic, that the government of Cameroon rather needs to be pampered. Listen, patting on the back, they need support. They need to be pampered, to be supported, to annihilate us. That is France. That is the
D'embraser
French
toute
position.
l'Afrique centrale. On n'insistera jamais assez, en effet, sur le lourd tribut payé par le pays dans sa lutte résolue contre l'État islamique et Boko Haram sur son sol et au-delà, dans le cadre de la force multinationale mixte et du partenariat transaharien.
So listen, I don't want to stay so much on this lady. She's made her point. And I just really wanted to use her to make this point. That La République du Cameroon, when the Beti Ekamburu tribe are writing, that as a matter of fact, they can do anything to us and go to because they are counting on France, it is not a fallacy. So as you can see there on Article 28, that les anglophones se plaignent de leur marginalisation. Mais avec le soutien de la France, la menace est moindre. So it is not fast. It is in implementation. And we can see France here playing the mouthpiece of La République du Cameroon, downplaying their atrocities on our people, downplaying the genocide, the genocidal campaign that is being carried out on our people. They don't show even the least sympathy to the scorched earth policy that's been practiced on our people. They see the complaints and condemnations of other nations as being unjust. And now, the same argument that she uses is the same argument that they transform John Gute into a parrot and send him out to go and use. Listen to him.
This thing, not been a government thing. People they there for Douala, for Bafoussam, for Garoua. And me, I don't travel for all those places. Each place I go, I see Anglophone community. I will go for some town for far north. I enter the town, I see Nama Oroko people, they can't receive me with drums. I ask them, hey, what should I do here? They say, oh no, we will do here with the plant we am. For Yagua. I say, well, they say, no, we run with side. We don't come here. And they contribute for the economy of the other regions. There's plenty for cocoa farms for central region. There's plenty for cocoa farms for south. There's plenty for cocoa farms everywhere else. But our own cocoa, it is rotten, it is die. So this problem, not be government problem only. Now everybody be involved. This.
So you see, I don't need to interpret what John Gute had just said there. You see, he falls in line with what the French woman is saying. And that's why I'm saying the actions of La République du Cameroon and our land are deliberate to attain this kind of objective. To promote a narrative according to which our people are even more comfortable with the citizens of La République du Cameroon. We are the problem. This has gone on for so long. I need our people to know. That's why I'm saying we are facing an existential crisis. It is existential. And that is one of the things that pushed Honorable Tibor Nagy, the former U.S. Undersecretary at the Department of State in charge of African Affairs, at the Bureau of African Affairs, to say this. When he said, imagine how supportive France would be of Southern Cameroon's Amazonian rights if region spoke French and the Yaounde regime was Anglophone. Instead of vice versa, France will be all on Amazonians choosing their fate, as the God was saying, Vive le Québec libre. Does anyone see this? These things come, they pass around us. We may see them, they may not mean anything. When I bring them in this analysis, it's for us to begin to put all the pieces together so we have a greater understanding of what we are up against. Because having a clear understanding of exactly what we are up against will help us to see the need to set aside all the stupid differences among us and work together and fight like hell, like a people who know we are on our own to kick La République du Cameroon out of our land. Because you see, like you're saying, if it's the people of Quebec, France has constantly asked for the independence of Quebec. And Quebec has had 2 referenda. 2. To decide whether they want to be independent or they want to stay as part of Canada. And of course, on both occasions, they have decided to stay as part of Canada because they are not facing what we are facing. Because it is not the intention of Canada to assimilate Quebec. And that's why Honorable Thibault is saying here that imagine that it is instead La République du Cameroon that was complaining and that they were being marginalized or they were being deprived by southern Cameroonians. France would be on every rooftop. But unfortunately, the Anglo-Saxon community around the world has abandoned us to ourselves. Reason? We have to force La République du Cameroon and France to be the ones to start saying we need to go to the negotiations table. When I said this before, some people said, oh, but what is he talking about? This seems so unrealistic. You should not be saying, but this is the point here. This is the point. Because if we don't get them to that place where it is La République du Cameroon and France that start running helter-skelter and saying, no, we need to go to the negotiation table, we will not get anywhere with this whole thing. And we have the capacity to do that. All we need to do, come together, work together, stop these stupid differences, stop this stupid infighting of this one is a leader, that one is not the leader, this one is the president, this one is not the president, and focus on what matters. Once we get La République du Cameroon out of our land, people can go and fight for power. And there will still come a time where that fight will cease because the people will have the upper hand to play the umpire. And that is how it has to go. And now we are getting towards the end of this broadcast. I'd like us to see some little thing here. Oh, it's coming on? Okay. I'd like us to see something. On those documents, there was one that was number 3, du développement. That you can see on your screen there, down there, du développement. Where they say, la volonté de s'enrichir a entraîné le détournement des fonds publics et un développement très déséquilibré du pays. Aujourd'hui, les zones bamileke sont à un niveau de développement insolite et inadmissible. Nous avons l'obligation de ralentir ce développement. If you get that, that is they have a clear intention to ensure that the development of the various parts of the country is down. And they say, in continuation of that is at Article 42, c'est pour cela, nous devons y nommer les sous-préfets spéciaux qui auront la mission de déstabiliser les comités de développement qui y pullulent. So they will have to appoint divisional officers, senior divisional officers, who will make self-reliant development impossible in our areas. Self-reliant development impossible. They know that we have our cultural and development organizations who want to bring electricity to our villages, we want to bring potable water, we want to build hospitals, in some cases we even want to build roads. But la République du Cameroun vous sait, si nous laissons les Bamileke et les autres libres de leur développement, nous courons le risque de voir les autres groupes ethniques proférer les revendications qui pourront nous mettre à l'épreuve. So make sure that we enforce on that development. I'm telling you, this is embarrassing. It's horrible. Not just criminal, but demonic. They say all they need to do is make it impossible, even for the people themselves, to ensure their education. You have heard sometimes, even in our communities, especially in the northern zone, where people have contributed money and they want to hire caterpillars to come maintain their roads so that during the rainy season where roads become very impassable, they are at least able to move. And the divisional officer or senior divisional officer will come and say, don't touch anything on the road. This is la national numero. This is la national. Only the government has the authority to do anything on this road. It is in implementation of this policy. It is written. I'm not the one saying, I say it is in implementation of this policy. That you see here, therefore, that the intention is to make poverty and misery a way of life, so that we are better subjugated, we are better squeezed and smashed. Shocking? Look at, after all the ranting by John Gute, he is prime minister. He is from Bogongo in a Kondo Titi local government area. But this is the road. Listen, this road I'm showing you is the road linking Kumba to a Kondo Titi, less than 60 kilometers. It's about 40 something kilometers. Linking Kumba to a Kondo Titi. This video was taken on December 6th. Today is December 10th. That is 4 days ago. This road that you are seeing, 4 days ago. But even if all the people of the Southern Zone or Southern Cameroon decide that no, this capital road, I will contribute money, want to get tractors and everything to fix this road, the European government will say, don't dare. This is La National. Only us can do something here. Because it needs to be maintained in this state. That is how they subjugate and control and weaken and then tinify and then enslave us forever. Watch.
Yeah. Okay.
This is the road leading to the Prime Minister's village. This road will pass because Ekono Titi is about the 5-minute drive from Bogongo, where John Gute is chief. Look at the road in 2023. This road is December 6th, 4 days ago, like I said. This video was taken 4 days ago. December 6th, 2023. Implementation of what I just pointed out. So my people of Ambazonia, brave warriors of our liberation movement, it is absolutely important for us to recognize that our destiny is in our hands. We have to do all it takes to kick La République du Cameroon out of our land. As this year 2023 is ending and we are getting ready to go to 2024, let us begin to remind ourselves of the importance of working together, of pooling our resources together to shorten our trip to Freedom Land. This is very important. Folks, I implore each and every one of us to see the need, to talk to anyone who still preaches division and hate among us, to see the need to change. Let 2024 that is approaching be our year of greater determination, because that long night where daggers will be flashing in the air in La République du Cameroon is close. We can't afford to be divided at that time. Don't tell me you don't know where to put your money to help push this struggle forward. Rush immediately to www.oneportrelief.org and make your contribution. I've seen texts from some people that they find difficulties because it seems everything is only PayPal. It's not only PayPal, it's beyond PayPal. And so you will be talking to Comrade Alem, who should find time in the course of this week to stop on this platform and then walk us through this portal, www.oneportrelief, so we can go in there and make our contributions to push this struggle forward. Thank you so much for spending this moment with me. I'm delighted that we had the opportunity to share again, and especially continue to stay safe. To God and to God alone be all the glory. Thank you.